Hello there, and hello to you too. Vlogging with Gibster in a new video that isn't a part of Pokemon The Alternate Take, which I haven't been uploading for a couple of months. I've just been sort of working on this. Now, what a time to do it 3 days before... What a time to finish it 3 days before the finale of the series. This right here is a paper figure based on Marc, Spector, Stephen Grant, Jake Lockley, whichever persona you like the most, because he has dissociative identity disorder, which means he essentially swaps between personalities. Hopefully you guys know what that is. I don't know the best explanation to say. It's like multiple souls in one body, having separate lives. And that's essentially what this is, except they're sort of living different lives that are branched, sort of bleeding into each other, as the vigilante Moonlight, given power by the Egyptian god of the moon, Khonshu. Now, what is so special about this figure here, other than the fact that I have just whisked away part of the design. So what is so special about this one right here? Well, it's not just for show with all these broken pieces and overlapping parts. It actually transforms into Moonlight and Mr. Knight. So how about I show you how it's done? This right here is Marc, Spector, Stephen Grant, Jake Lockley, as I said, whoever you're gonna call him for now. And I will be showing you how to transform it. If you guys want to make this for yourself, you'll probably need tape, scissors, paper, and some sort of either card or cardboard. I'd say cardboard would be harder to use, so card, just to reinforce it. And essentially, once you've done with one thing, just put a lot of tape over it so it has this shining feel. Also, so the paper is more protected. Every time you do a design on paper, put card under it. And you'll also need glue as well, if I haven't said that already. So essentially, let's transform him into Mr. Knight, because he's probably the easiest to transform Marc into. Or as I'll be calling him from now, Stephen, because Stephen is the one who turns into Mr. Knight. And then Marc is the one that turns into Moonlight, which I will get to later. So first of all, let's start off with how I do the head. So transformation sequence of Mr. Knight to Moonlight is the same. I'm going to take those parts out. So these parts here, the sides are 5. This is 5.5. That's for the entire thing here. So essentially, for all these shell parts, you're going to want them to be like half a centimeter bigger. This is 5x5, by the way. Then you basically flip it over the head. We're not needing Moonlight right now. And essentially, I'm going to tuck that under here. And then we're going to plug this into here. I know it's already white under there, but I can't just have the sides of the head flinging off. I mean, that's Raoul Bushman's thing, to have his head ripped off. Well, the skin of his head ripped off. So what do we do with this Moonlight? Well, we just plug it into here. As you can see here, that has the design of the Moonlight. And that one there doesn't, so for when it has to be Moonlight. I know, that was an error there. Don't draw that there. And if I plug that back in, and there you go, that's the head of Mr. Knight. So how do I do the torso, let's say? Well, the torso flips over like this. Now, from everything, so for the head, that was just an easy way to get the transformation done, but for the rest of the limbs, I've taken into liberty how the transformation actually works from the film, how threads sort of appear at the bottom of his feet and then they climb up his body and then create the suit. Sort of like how if you flip this upwards, it feels like the thread crawling up and I'm making the suit. So there should be a hole in there that you plug that into. And that's Mr. Knight's body essentially. Now, How do I do the others? No, you clearly see there's no flipping mechanism here, and this takes into liberty the fact that it sort of appears from nowhere. Because I have separate pieces. It does have a mechanism, but that's for Moonlight. So, there are holes right there. And you're gonna plug these parts into it. Come on. There we go. That's how the side of it looks, by the way. I'm doing the wrong way. This is how the side of it looks, by the way. It wouldn't fit in because I'm doing the wrong side. No, it doesn't fit because it just wants to make my day harder. And then there's a bit in the middle. So the legs are connected, by the way. That's just how I've done them. And then you're going to want to do the same with the other leg. And essentially, the same thing is for the arms as well. By the way, the arms can move freely. As you can clearly see from them wobbling there. That's just from the mechanism, and if I make any more paper figures like this, then they'll probably work like that as well. They won't all be transforming ones. Like, for say, if I were to make the Iron Spider, the Iron Man Mark 50 or Mark 85, or the Black Panther 2 suit, then it would work like this. So essentially, how do I get the arms to move? I should have done that earlier because now I have to take this off. There's Moonlight's body just tucked in there. And essentially, I have these pieces here. So, I have also discs in here as well, which keeps them from falling out of here. And then I've made this part here rigid so that it's a hard fit into there and so that it won't fall out from there. So essentially, that's how the arms work. Wrong one. And then you're also, when you make the Moonlight, you're going to have to make a piece like that, but that flips in there. Plugs into there. And then back into that hole there. Now for the arms. That's the front, that's the side. So you can clearly see it goes here. Same thing with this inflated part. Put the tag in there. And then it goes in here. And then essentially the same thing here. The head is probably the last thing you want to do because of, well, this, as you can see, happening with the head right now. So essentially, parts like these, you're going to want to make them bigger than the rest of the body so that they fit over. A good example of how that fails is the prototype that is currently lying in my bucket, in my bin. Now you may think, this is Mr. Knight completed, what else could you have for his weapons? I don't know, like, what they're called exactly, but just, you make the weapons here. These arms are 3x8, 5x8, and these are also, this is 6x8. And then these are essentially, it doesn't matter what the size of these are, just get them, just make sure that these are quite thin. Then how do I turn them into Moonlight? First of all, you're going to take the weapons off. And then, what else? Here, the arms and the legs. Well, not the arms and legs, I mean, like, obviously. I'm just gonna leave that like that until, like, I actually have to do the head. So, I'm essentially just going to... So essentially just keep them like that, all tucked in. Now, how do I switch this into the famed, more known, and sort of older version of this character? Because technically Moonlight was the one that debuted first, not Marc. And then Mr. Knight is quite recent. Like, not very recent, but like quite recent considering comics, because I'm pretty sure it either came late 20th century or early 21st century. Point is, you're gonna grab that part there, and then you grab this. Essentially, you're gonna just swap them over. This one goes on the inside, and that one goes on the outside like that, and you're gonna flip that there. Well, technically, keep that up there. I'm gonna... So these, I'm gonna take them out, as you can see. Because they're different. Oh look, those are the front of Moonlight's. So essentially what you're going to do is you're just going to plug them into here. The arms are also like that, except the arms are not conjoined to each other. Take it from the back. Plug it into the front. Same thing with this one. Good. Now, weapons. Crescent darts. I have the crescent darts here. I also have them on the sides of there as well, because it turns out there are actually crescent darts on his war arm guards. I don't really know what they're called. I think they're called forearms. I don't know. I'm not that much of an intellectual. Point is, if I were to just put them on there, they would be wonky, so I attach them to the side of the arm. Like that. And I say them because I have two of them. If you're making this, you don't have to, but I have Bod there because, of course, he's a very, very violent person. And now, how do I change the Mr. Knight face to the Moonlight face, which you guys probably already know from what I had done the last time, but essentially you take the top of the head and you move it down here. Good. And for those of you who haven't watched the show, you're going to be like, okay, he has his weapons, he has his body, this must be him done, right? Gotta add the cape. I don't know if I'm gonna try and make, like, every MCU character that has appeared. I know for sure, like, that if I am gonna do them, next one is Khonshu, just to complete the set. I am gonna definitely do Khonshu. So essentially, you're gonna make the hole slightly bigger than the head, just so that the cape fits over it. So surely this must be... Oh no, we've forgotten the hood. So essentially the cape and the hood, they just... I don't really need anything to attach them because they just sit on the neck and top of the head respectively. But that is the figure that I have made in celebration of the Disney Plus series Moonlight, starring Oscar Isaacs as Moonlight, the eponymous character. Anyway, hopefully next video might be a Khonshu, which won't be transformable, because Khonshu doesn't transform. Unless you count the dead bird from episode 5 being Khonshu secretly watching Marc as a child. But, you know, that's what happened in the comics. But I'm not going to do that. It's going to be big as hell. Anyway, see you guys next time.